Kayla Moore, wife of Roy S. Moore, at a news conference on Friday outside the Alabama state capitol in Montgomery, drew AngererGetty Images Montgomery, Alabama, with the furor over UAL misconduct allegations against Roy S. Moore only growing. It was his wife, Kayla Moore, who was at center stage on the Alabama Capitol steps on Friday, her gold cross earrings glinting in the sun as she defiantly defended her husband. "Let me set the record straight," Ms. Moore said. "He will not step down," as Mr. Moore wages a two-front battle against the accusations by 9 women of UAL misconduct and unwanted advances, and against Washington Republicans who want nothing more than for him to exit the race for an Alabama Senate seat. The limelight is shining on his most prominent defender, his wife. Over 32 years of marriage, Ms. Moore has been a constant, if reserved, part of her husband's public life. Take the time in August, when as Mr. Moore spoke at a Baptist church in Jasper, Iowa, Ms. Moore discreetly rose from the last pew and set up a card table in the sanctuary with pamphlets and copies of the candidates' books. "Kayla is a quiet presence in the background and does not inject herself vocally into politics," said Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, a law firm in Florida, who represented Mr. Moore after he resisted same marriage. "But now," Mr. Staver said, "she has become more vocal because her husband has been attacked." Ms. Moore is no stranger to public life, becoming the president of the Foundation for Moral Law, an organization founded by Mr. Moore, in 2013. 2 years later, she ran for secretary of the Alabama Republican Party, but was defeated by Lynn Robinson. But Angie Horn-Stalnaker, a Republican political strategist in Alabama, said she was still something of a cipher. "Politically speaking, there is less known about Kayla Moore's hobbies and likes and dislikes and personality than there is about any other political spouse in Alabama," Ms. Stalnaker said. The couple met in 1984. The same year, Ms. Moore filed for divorce from her first husband. Just over 12 months later, she married Mr. Moore. She was 24, 14 years his junior. Around Gadsden, where Mr. Moore worked as a lawyer and a judge, the couple are known as Roy and Kayla, no last name necessary. A biography of her on the website of the political organization that she runs describes Ms. Moore as a former beauty pageant contender who studied at Jacksonville State University and the University of Alabama. The site says that she worked for many years as a bookkeeper, and became Mr. Moore's legal secretary after they were married. It also says that she played key roles in each of his political campaigns. Ms. Moore took over as president of the Foundation for Moral Law, which works on court cases around conservative values, when her husband was re-elected as Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. The foundation was the subject of a complaint filed to the Internal Revenue Service in September, accusing the group of repeatedly and expressly advocating Mr. Moore's election to the Senate, in conflict with its tax-exempt status. Mr. Moore says the criticism is politically motivated. The Washington Post reported last month that internal documents showed Mr. Moore received a salary of $180,000 a year for his part-time work for the foundation. He was given a $540,000 mortgage on the group's headquarters when it was unable to pay that salary, the report said. Since accusations of UAL misconduct by Mr. Moore broke last week, including one from a woman who said he had molested her when she was 14, Ms. Moore began taking to Facebook to defend her husband, posting sympathetic articles from outlets including Breitbart and the Daily Caller, and told associates that she knew the allegations were not true. "She didn't hesitate," said Randy Brinson, the president of the Christian Coalition of Alabama and a prominent Republican in the state, who spoke to the couple by phone last weekend. "I think she's just coming forward to stand by him and defend him, just like any spouse would." By Friday, Ms. Moore had stepped into the role of the defender, speaking after a group of other Republican women. They framed the allegations of UAL misconduct as part of a plot to overthrow their political goals, which ranged from repealing the Affordable Care Act to fighting against same marriage. "Consider the source," Ms. Moore said, urging Alabamians to join her in standing by her husband. To the people of Alabama, thank you for being smarter than they think you are. Jess Bidgood reported from Montgomery, Alabama, and Caitlin Dickerson from New York. Sir Jeff Kowalewski contributed reporting from New York, and Jonathan Martin from Austin, Texas. Susan Beachy contributed research from New York. A version of this article appears in print on November 18, 2017, on page A14 of the New York edition with the headline "Candidate's wife leads an unflinching defense, he will not step down."